Okay, so you saw me paint these papers in the last video. The main thing is you've got to have four shades, okay? Two of one color and two of another color. So I chose to use construction paper for the background on two of mine because it would make it look darker. But if you don't have construction paper, you could just be a little heavier with the paint um, on one of the pieces of paper that you have instead of doing it on construction paper. Now these are the ones that I painted to do another present that I'm going to make. So I've already completed one of these. Let's talk about what you could use this for. This is not completed, but I might adorn it with some more. These are, this is actually a Christmas bauble that could be an ornament. And this is an ornament I made in the same format, where I took the same papers, same exact papers that I used, and then I adorned it with paint pens and put this little holder up here, and I put a bow on it too. This one is not going to be a Christmas ornament. This one is going to be like a little picture frame, and I think I'm going to put a picture of my daughters in it and put a magnet on it and give it to my mother-in-law just for her to use, to have. Okay, so you could use it as a picture frame. You could use it as a Christmas ornament. You could use it, you could also put a picture in it and put it on your bulletin board, well, however you want to do it. I'm also going to include a square template to do the same type thing. And if you wanted it not to be circle, you could. And there's other people use animals as their shape. They use rectangles as their shape and squares as their shape, triangles as their shape. And it's really kind of a quilting technique that it's called, and it's called iris folding. And we'll go into more on that when I share with you the presentation. All right, so after you have your pieces that you painted that were like this, okay, then you are going to divide them into 1.5 inch strips, okay? You will need to take that 1.5 inch strip, and then you will fold it in half lengthwise, okay? So you're going to need about 3 of each color. Three of each shade. So here's one, okay? What you want to do is you want to take the glue, and you want to make sure that you definitely get around, you got to make sure the glue comes out. Make the glue come out. You want to get around the edges, the center. You don't want to make it heaping with glue, but you want to make sure all the area is covered on one side of it. Okay? Then you want to close it. And you want to make sure you have a nice, crisp fold. Okay? And you want to make sure it's glued down. You don't want it so thick with glue that it's oozing out the edges. Okay? But you do want it glued down pretty well. All right? So when you look at this, I have, it depends on how you cut your paper. Like I have, if you cut it short-wise, you need 3 of each shade. So here's one set. These were cut lengthwise, so you really only need 2 of those. So I learned through the process of doing my example what I should do. So if they're cut short ways, then you need 3. If they're cut long ways, then you need 2. So all of these are already folded. Now, you are going to print out the template that you want to use. I've got this circle template printed out, okay? Once you have it printed out, you're going to go to the window, and you will trace the shape of the circle, the exact size of the shape of the circle. Then You'll do it on white paper. I just traced my circle on red paper. It's just what I had. So you do yours on white paper so that you'll be able to see through the paper to be able to trace it. So you're just going to trace the outside edge, not all the shapes in the middle. Okay? Then what you want to do is fold it a little and just cut a little slice into it. And then very neatly, I'm going to cut to the circle. And then I'm going to cut to the circle again. Then I'm going to cut to the circle again. Then I'm going to, it helps me get to this without tearing the paper. I'm going to very neatly cut the center circle out. I do not want to cut into the edges of the paper because we need that stability to be able to glue these pieces down. Okay. Oh, see, that's a little wobbly there, so I don't want to do that. So I want to take it in there and I want to cut it a little bit better. All right. This looks a little off too. Now, what I need to do is get a stapler or some tape. And you are going to put this template under that circle, just like this. You want to make sure it's lined up and you don't want it to move around. You want it to line up with that circle. You want to make sure it doesn't move. And I'm just going to, it looks like it moved some. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to take this, fold it back up. Oh, it moved again. That's just not working for me. You want to make sure it stays lined up with the edge of the circle. And of course, it's doing this while I'm filming it and making me mad. Okay. You want to be able to pick this up as you go because you want to make sure this doesn't get glued down to the paper. All right? Now, what you want to do is you want to take these and you need to have 6 of each color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you want 6 of each shade. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of the green, 6 of the red, 6 of the goldish green, yellow green. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this into 3 pieces. Let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. You want to make sure that they're about equal. Okay. So I'm going to take these 3, put them over here. Make sure I keep my shades together. All right. So I've got these ready right here. Now these I'm just going to put them together, save on time. Divide them into thirds as well. You just have to eyeball it. If you feel like measuring it out, go right ahead. All right, so I've got those ready. Okay, So remember, these were short, so I had to make sure that I had them. So I've got these ready. And then I have these ready. Well, they're not ready. I gotta cut them. Okay, so those are ready as well. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to start with one shade. All right. And you're gonna take one from each pile as you go. So I'm gonna start out with this one. All right. You wanna make sure that your fold is very crisp, and you're going to use this as a background piece to glue on. You want to make sure you do not get any glue on the white paper, because we're just using this as a template, and we always want to be able to pull this up. If it's glued to the paper, you need to make sure that it comes up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to see what's the best portion that I want to be seen through here. Okay? Because see, what we're going to do is pull it up, and whatever's on the other side is what you're going to see. So I'm going to take this, and I am going to figure out that this is going to be it's going to be lined up. It's going to be lined up with this line right here, okay? So I'm just going to keep the glue on the red part. Now I'm going to make sure that the fold, not the rough edges, but the fold is lined up against this line where it says number 1. So you're going to put this down for number 1, okay? And then you're going to make sure that it's sticking to it. So when you turn it over, you'll see this, okay? All right, now I am going to take the next shade, which is number, I think I'm going to take, I'm going to put these in the order that I want. I'm going to put the red and green right here, because I want my greens to be across from each other and my reds to be across from each other. So that's how I'm doing it, so you can determine what you would like. So I'm going to do my green, and then I think I'm going to take my dark red. So this, I'm going to line this up with the number 2 line. See, here's the number 2 right here. See the 2 right here? All right, so I'm going to take this. Why did this move? All right, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to make sure that I have a nice crisp edge. I'm going to turn this as I work on it. So I know that this is going to line up right here with the number 2. So what you can do is hold it down like that and determine where you need the glue. So I'm going to put the glue right here and on top of the green piece that's right there. You don't want too much, but you want enough to hold it down. So I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to make sure that it's lined up with the line for the 2, which is right there. Then I'm going to come over to this other side and put it down. And you can still move it around if it wobbles. So I've got that. So if I turn this around, you want to make sure that it doesn't stick to the paper. You're going to see where you have this piece and this piece. Okay? All right, this seems to be coming up a little bit right here. I'm going to put a little glue to make it hold. This is going to be the back that we're going to end up cutting, but this is the back. So now I use the yellow, the light. I want to use the next shade of green over here. So I'm going to put my darks over here, my lights over here, my dark reds here, and my light reds here. So I'm going to take one of my dark greens. I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to line the fold up. Remember, you're going to forget. Make sure you don't use this edge that's where the two raw edges come together. You want the fold. Try to make sure it's a nice crisp edge. All right. Do like I did before, so you'll know where where to put the glue. Remember, you don't want to put it on the paper, on the template. Okay. So I'm going to lay this down like that. Then I'm going to pick this up and put some more right here. Remember, we don't want it on the template. We want to make sure it's not glued to the template. Okay, that's what it looks like now. I'm going to turn it. Go to number 4. So I have the dark red there. Now I need the light red. So I got to make sure that I have a nice crisp edge. This is going to be lined up right here. Nice crisp fold. Okay. Make sure it lines up with the number 4. I think I'll do one more round, and then I'll cut y'all loose to complete yours, and then complete this part of it, and then we'll do another video to finish it off. So now I'm going to turn it. All right, so now I need to go back to my yellow green. All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to make sure it has a nice sharp fold, crisp fold. I'm going to lay this right here on the number 5 section. I'm going to line my fold up with that edge of that section. I'm going to put remember, we don't want it on the white template. I'm going to go over to this side, do the same thing. Make sure it's glued to make sure this doesn't move, and see how this is coming out. All right. Now I'm going to turn it, and this is number 6, and this is the dark red. So I'm going to grab me another piece of dark red. Make sure I have a nice crisp fold. I'm going to line it up with the line on the section 6. Okay, now I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to pick this up. Put some more glue right here. You don't want to use too much glue, and you don't want to use too little glue. All right, make sure this is not glued. Okay. Still, you see this is coming along. All right. Turn it. I'm going to use my dark green. It's going to line up right here. Make sure I have a nice crisp fold. Line it up with that section. I think it's number 7. Alrighty. Put this down. Alright, I got one more piece to put down and then I'll cut y'all loose to finish it out. So this is the light red, so I'm going to pick up my light red again. And I'm going to line it up right here. Line it up across the 8. Alright, so that's the number 8. Now, I'll show you what it looks like so far. This is going to eventually be cut out like this, okay? But whatever is showing through this side is what we're keeping. Alright? So I'll cut you loose. When you come back, we'll talk about what to do next.